Okay, students, good morning. Am I audible? I repeat, am I audible? Okay, good. So just like wait for 2 more minutes and we will start the session in 2 minutes. Okay, students. So in yesterday's, not yesterday. So in our last class, we have completed the second unit that is about physical layer. So in this class, we are going to start the third unit that is about data link layer. Okay. So before starting this particular unit, let me first rewind those things which we discussed. So first unit actually gives the overview of all the remaining 5 units. That means what are the function, what are the functionalities of different layers in OSI or TCP/IP architecture that we discussed in our first unit. So in these second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth units, we are going to see in depth about those things. So let me first remind you what are the things that we discussed in our first unit related to data link layer. Okay, so yeah, almost 70 students have joined. So let me. Okay. So in this particular day, today's class, we are going to see about data link layer and one specific topic called design issues. Okay. So as I said, what we discussed in our first unit is how the data link layer makes sure that the raw transmission facility provided by the physical layer is error free. Okay, so in our last unit also we discussed that. Let me change the color. Yeah. So physical layer will make sure that when sender sends a signal for 0 or 1, receiver understands it as it is. Yes or no? So when sender sends a signal for 0, receiver must understand the signal as 0. If the sender sends a signal for 1, receiver must understand 1. So this is the right communication. If when sender sends 0, if receiver thinks it is 1, or when the sender sends 1, the receiver thinks it is 0, it is a wrong way of communication, where the error is there in the physical layer itself. So physical layer will make sure that these things happen. That means when sender sends 0, receiver receives 0. When sender sends 1, receiver receives 1. Okay. Now, but the problem is, so even though the sender sends 0, when sender sends 0 with a low signal and sender sends 1 with a high signal, even though the receiver knows the same, okay, so this is on the sender side, so this is on the receiver side, so both made the agreement. Okay, now the problem is when the signal going through the transmission medium, the signal was corrupted. Okay, so if the signal is corrupted, now the physical layer can't do anything. What the physical layer can do is it can convert zeros into signals, ones into signals, and it can send those signals to the medium. Okay, and on the receiving side, which is a completely different system, it will just recode whatever signals received into the corresponding bits as for its understanding. So లో వస్తే 0 కింద కన్వర్ట్ చేయాలి, 1 వస్తే హై వస్తే 1 కింద కన్వర్ట్ చేయాలి అని రిసీవర్ కి తెలుసమ్మా. బట్ వాట్ ద రిసీవర్ ఈజ్ నాట్ షూర్ ఈస్ whether there is some problem happened in the transmission medium or not. That means whether there is some disturbance in the transmission medium or not. So who will take care of that means the data link layer will take care of that thing. Okay, so to take care of these things, so the data link layer provides different mechanisms. Okay, what you can say is different services. So to achieve these things, what the data link layer is doing is it will make sure that the sender breaks the input data into smaller frames. Okay, so a best example, uh, you are downloading a movie. Okay, in between, after downloading, let's say you are not using any software, you are directly downloading a big file, a 700 MB or 1 GB file from a web server. Okay, in between, if the connection breaks, what happens? Your entire movie will be gone, right? So again, you need to re-download from the beginning. So that's what happens if the entire information is treated as a single entity. Now, if you take the softwares like Internet Download Manager, IDM, or if you take a torrent download manager, what happens there? So there, those softwares will reconnect. I mean, it will divide the information into smaller things, and it will reconstruct the information at the receiving set. So by dividing the information into smaller things, the advantage is, say, you divided the information into 100 frames. So your entire movie now is divided into 100 parts. Okay, each part is transmitted individually. Now if some part is corrected, you can ask the sender to only retransmit that part. Even though you stop at after downloading 60 parts, you can uh, download the remaining 40 parts later. So that is the advantage of dividing the information into smaller chunks. Okay, అలా అని చెప్పేసి if you divide this information into further the least possible size, that means in digital communication, can anyone tell me what is the least possible size? What is the least possible size that you can communicate in a digital communication? Anyone? It's a general question. What is the least possible size for a digital information? Yeah, so K5, you are right. So the least possible size is 1 bit. So the least possible size is 1 bit. So divide చేయమన్నాం కదా అని చెప్పేసి. So since the as per the instructions, you need to divide the information. If you divide the information into 1 bits, single bit. So if you have like 1 GB, literally 1 GB means 10 power 6 into 8 bits. That means 8 into 10 power 6 bits. If you divide this information into those many parts, then there will be another problem. Okay, the problem is wasting the bandwidth. So for each bit, you are going to add 7 different headers and some trailers, and you are going to send that using some redundant bits, additional bits for some other purpose. So your entire information is transmitted, like instead of this 8 into 10 power 6, you are going to send 100 into 10 power 6 bits. So instead of downloading 1 GB, you are going to download something around 10 GB, 15 GB, like that, which is completely waste. So that is the reason there must be some in value in between. You can't send your entire data in a single go. You can't send 1 bit at a time. So what the data link layer tells is, take a fixed number of bits depending on your medium. Okay, so what is meant by your medium means, if in your medium you are getting more errors, then the best thing is go with the smaller size. If your medium is a medium where the chances of getting errors are very rare, you can go with bigger size. So is that logic is right or wrong? What is said just now? So more errors, less frame size. Less errors, more frame size. Right or wrong? If I go with this particular approach, I will waste as less as possible. At the same time, my communication will be as efficient as possible. సో మోర్ ఎర్రర్స్ వస్తున్నాయి అంటే రీట్రాన్స్మిషన్ చేసే ఛాన్సెస్ ఎక్కువ ఉంటాయి అన్నమాట. సో ఒకవేళ మీరు మొత్తం డేటాని సింగిల్ గోలో పంపిస్తున్నారు అనుకోండి, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ యూఆర్ సెండింగ్ 1 GB data in a single go. If in the last minute after downloading 99%, if you get an error, what happens? There is so much chance of getting an error. So by your luck, you have not received any error in the beginning or in the middle, but due to your bad luck, in the ending, after downloading 99%, you got an error. What happens? Your entire movie will be gone. There is a higher chances of getting such cases. Now, if you divide them into smaller parts, so what happens is, when you divide the data into 100 parts, say your chances of getting error is 30%, then only 300 MB need to be retransmitted. Remaining 700 MB will go without any problem. That is the probability case. Okay, if there is very less chances of getting error, that means you can say there is only 1% chance of getting errors. So what I can do is, instead of dividing the information into 100 parts, let's say I will divide the information into 10 parts. So out of 10 parts, I know only one part will get an error. If I send that one part again, there is only 10% chance to get an error in that one part. Okay, so within 110 GB I can transmit the within 1.3 GB I can send the data without any problem. So that is the logic here. Okay, so more errors, less frame size, less errors, more frame size. So here what we saw in our first unit is these 2 points. Okay, the sender break up the input data into data frames. So remember this word, the information in data link layer is called as frames. Okay, and the receiving device, I mean, we will make sure that depending on our requirement, we will make sure that the receiver will always send an acknowledgement, a delivery report, a confirmation message saying that the frame that you transmitted is received properly to me. So that is the advantage of dividing the frames and sending the acknowledgement. That is done by the data link layer. And so it also makes sure that a faster receiver will not overrun a slower, a faster sender. So there is a mistake here. So a faster sender will not overrun a slower receiver. That means, so if I'm delivering the lecture in a space that within 1 hour I will cover like 100 slides, okay, but your brains can't handle those many slides. As you are new to this subject, I am very familiar with this subject, so I'm explaining each and every slide very fastly, very quickly, with very brief explanation, not in-depth explanation, and I am covering like 100 slides in 1 hour session. Okay, are you able to understand that thing? Is it possible for you to cope up with that speed? Tell me yes or no. So if I am in your shoes, I can say I can't cope up with that particular speed. Okay, so what you will do immediately, what you will do is you will send a message like this only: sir, slow down, slow down, slow down, we can't get you. I repeat the session once more time. I repeat the session for multiple times. So that's what you are going to do. You are going to send me a feedback to me. So that is one approach of making me slow down. Okay, so here the data link layer will implement some such logic. So the data link layer will control the sender in slowing down, while the receiver feels that the receiver is overrun by the sender. So that is one beauty of this data link layer. Okay, and the next thing, so when multiple users are sharing the same communication medium like Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, Okay, if while one person is sending some information, if all the other person are also sending their own information, there will be a lot of confusion. So a best example, a practical example is our classrooms. If a faculty is teaching something, if some other person in that classroom, that is nothing but some student speaks something, okay, at the same time with a little bit voice, not more, so some students within that vicinity will be affected, they won't be receiving the information. Okay, so there must be some mechanisms to control who can speak and who cannot speak at a specific instance. So that control will be taken care by this data link layer. So this is another service provided by the data link layer. Okay, so to provide such service, to make sure that when there are multiple people sharing the communication medium, the information must be delivered to the corresponding person, whoever the receiver it is, not to everyone, and everyone must understand to whom the information is intended for. So all these things, the single answer is address. You need some address mechanism to identify each and every person in that vicinity. That means whoever is accessing the communication medium. So what is such address mechanism is our physical address, that is nothing but MAC address, medium access control address. Okay, multi-access control address. So this address is used for uh, identifying nodes uh, in a shared communication medium case. Okay, so now, so these are the things that are happening in data link layer. These are the overviews that we discussed in our first unit. Okay, not in depth. What we discussed just now is discussed in the first units. Okay, now if you are clear with this overview, we will go in depth. So tell me guys whether you are clear with these things or not, or do you want me to repeat any specific point of these this particular slide? Guys, I want replies whether it is clear with this particular slide, each and every point of this slide, or shall I repeat any specific point? Okay, I'm getting very few responses. What I explained is not a new thing. I just revised, I just copied and pasted the same slide here, whatever we saw in the first unit. So I'm just repeating what we discussed in the first unit about data link layer. So here, as you can see this particular diagram in our first title slide, so the data link layer will be there in each and every layer. So just listen, you will understand here. So as you can see in this particular diagram, so a data link layer is taking care of, okay, so, yeah. The data link layer is taking care of hop to hop delivery, which is also called node to node delivery. That means in a communication, in a network, computer network, where there are so many people connected with multiple links. Okay, so this data link layer is like, you can say every layer is a person. So a person will be there in every system, here, here, here. So on the ends of every communication medium, there will be a person standing and taking care of certain things. Okay, so the first thing is he will take care of hop to hop delivery. That means when this end system sends something which is intended for, let's say, A to D, the information need to go. So the information starts from A and it need to go. So here the data link layer will not worry about whether the information is reached to the end or not. What it is worrying about is the data link layer in this particular system will worry that whether the information is properly delivered to the data link layer in B or not. Okay. Now the person, the data link layer in B will only worry about whether the information is delivered to data link layer in C or not. and the data link layer in C will worry about whether the information is delivered to the data link layer in D or not. That's it. Okay, so they are not worrying about, so here the link layer is only worrying about local information delivery, not global information delivery. So that is called link delivery, link node to node delivery or hop to hop delivery. So to overcome those issues, what the data link layer is going to do is it is going to implement many things. So one thing is framing. So divide the data into smaller parts and send each frame individually instead of sending the entire message in a single go. Divide the information into smaller parts and send the information individually. Okay. And second thing, if you want reliable communication, go with acknowledgement. So whenever a frame is transmitted from one node to another node, the other node, the receiver node will send a acknowledgement. So every frame the receiver will send a acknowledgement. So that is the second thing. And third thing, when the sender sends data at higher speed to a system which works at lower speed, the sender side data link layer must identify the problem and it must slow down. So that is another service that is provided by the data link layer. And one more thing is error control. So when the information is sent here, if in between due to some external factor, if the signal is corrupted, the receiver side system is the next immediate system. I am not talking about this destination. Remember these words. When I say source and destination, you can say the first node in the net communication and the last node. Edge systems గురించి మాట్లాడుతున్నట్టు. Source and destination ante the two edge systems in the communication. Okay, sender and receiver ante the current node and the next node. So remember these words. So the sender, whether the sent information is correctly received on the receiver or not. If there is an error, what to do? Okay, whether we need to ask the sender to retransmit the information or we need to ask, we can correct that information ourselves. So these things must be taken care by the data link layer. Okay, is it clear now? I repeat, is it clear? Yeah, good. Now so as I just said now, so here the data link layer will always take care of node to node delivery. So for every link, one end will be called as sender, other end will be called as receiver. So in the first step, this will be sender, this will be receiver. In the second step, this will be sender, this will be receiver. In the third step, this will be sender, this will be receiver. In the fourth step, this will be sender, receiver. So this is actual source and this is actual destination. So remember these terminologies for our future classes so that you will easily understand these things, okay, without repeating those things by me. Okay, now so to do all those things, data link layer first to concentrate on what are the problems that I need to handle. Okay, so I said the overview, but before coming to that overview, how the actual data link layer building was started. So here the data link layer first identified what are the issues. Normally, when we ask you to do a project, your project involves multiple steps. The first step is problem identification. Second step is uh, I mean deciding how to handle that problem. Third step is choosing the corresponding tools necessary for solving the problem in your specified way. Okay, then applying, I mean, constructing the methodology to solve the problem, then applying the methodology, then identifying the results. So these are the steps. In the same way, when the people started designing the data link layer, they also started with identifying the issues. So what are the issues the designer need to take care of in data link layer level? So the issues are so providing a well-defined services to the network layer. So as you can see here, not yeah, in this particular diagram, as you can see here, the actual communication that is happening in a system is like this. The information comes from application layer. It will go from application layer to the next layer, then the next layer. Let's say this is the network layer. From network layer, the information will come to data link layer. From the data link layer, the information comes to physical layer. From physical layer, it will go to the communication medium, and it will go to the receiver communication medium. From receiver communication medium, the information is delivered to the receiver's physical layer. From receiver physical layer, receiver data link layer, receiver data link layer, receiver network layer. So this is a lengthy process, but in terms of network layer, it must appear like I want to do some communication with some device in the other end. That means this is source, this is destination. I am doing the communication, but I need the help of data link layer. So I am going to ask the data link layer to provide the service. So data link layer will provide this service to so many through so many intermediate nodes, not even directly, but through this actual path. But for network layer point of view, you will think the network layer will think that I am not the communication is not going through multiple systems. The communication is not going through multiple communication mediums. What I am sending, it is received by the receiver. So that's it. That's what it will see. So you can look at it like say in a company. Say if you take our college, the principal sir will give few instructions to HODs in completing a task. Okay, and then the principal will not be worrying about how how the HOD is doing the task to complete them. Okay, so what HOD normally will do, so HOD will divide the task to multiple faculties, and the faculties will do those tasks. Okay, if the tasks involve some students, then obviously the faculties are going to take a group of students and they are going to divide this particular work and make the students do the work. Let's say it is conducting some event in our college, so it's like that how it is happening. So the higher level people will not be worrying about what are the things happening at the lower level. So they will be only concentrating on what is happening at the level of the next one, that is nothing but HOD. So HOD will only worry about how the events are going happen with respect to the faculty's point of view only. They are not going to think about the lower level. Then the faculties are going to think about do about is how the things are going with respect to the next level, that is the student. So this is how the normal in any organization, whether it is a college or a software company, whether or some hardware manufacturing company, whatever it is. So this is the hierarchy. So the same hierarchy is implemented in our software communication. That means in our network communication. So here in our network communication, as I said, to make sure that the network layer is not to worry about the bottom things, the data link layer has to provide a well-defined service interface to the network layer. That means మనం క్లియర్ గా let's say మనం అంటే we are the data link layer, so we are clearly defining certain things to the network layer. So you give me some information and some inputs, I will do the task. No worry, you don't worry about how I am doing the tasks. That's what we are going to tell to the network layer. So here I am telling these things in a simple terminology, but in a computer you need to implement it as an algorithm, as a certain steps. That is nothing but protocols. Okay, and the second things, how to deal with the transmission errors. Okay, so I can't always concentrate on error correction. That means when a sender sends some information, receiver receives it, the receiver need to correct the information by himself. Okay, so that is called as error correction. Okay, so I can't always insist that even though there is some errors, the sender is not responsible. Receiver need to take care of those errors by itself. Can I stress like that? So I can't say that. Okay, so depending on the situation, I need to I need to I need to handle the problem in different manners. Okay, sometimes I may ask the sender, I may ask the receiver to correct themselves. Sometimes I will ask the sender to retransmit the information. That is nothing but I miss the data link layer in both the system. Okay, sometimes the data link layer in the receiver side will correct the errors by itself if possible. If it is not possible, it will inform the same to the sender side data link layer. Now the sender side data link layer will make sure that the sender will retransmit the information. So that is how dealing with transmission error means. Okay, and third thing is flow control. That means regulating the flow from sender to receiver so that the information is not wasted. ఓకే, ఒక సెండర్ స్పీడ్ గా పంపిస్తున్నప్పుడు రిసీవర్ అదే స్పీడ్ లో రిసీవ్ చేసుకోకపోతే ఏమవుతుందమ్మా? So whatever the excess things are coming to the receiver will be simply going into a dustbin. Okay, so when I explain some concepts with very much space, so what happens is if you are not receiving them, if you are not sending any feedback to me, so immediately what happens is when I explain 10 points, you will understand 4 points. The remaining 6 points, I will think that, okay, I sent the information, the students understood the information. Now you only understood the 4 points. So what happens to the remaining 6 points? So the remaining 6 points went to the garbage. That is nothing but a dustbin, wasted. So instead of that, if you have a mechanism to tell to the sender, I am not able to understand it at this speed, slow down by a 60%, so that whatever you are explaining will be understand by me properly without any problem. So that is the mechanism. So same mechanism is implemented in the data link layer. So those to implement those mechanisms, the designers identified this issue, these 3 issues. Okay, so how the data link layer is going to make sure that the network layer has not to worry about the bottom things. Secondly, how to solve transmission errors. Third issue, how what to do when a faster sender sends a signal to the slower receiver. So by looking at these 3 issues, they started designing the solutions. Okay, so are you able to understand these 3 problems now? Now we will start concentrating on learning the solutions. So can you see the problem here? The 3 problems, the 3 issues here. Guys, reply in the chat box. Are you able to see the problems here? Unless I can see the replies, I won't go further. Very few. Okay, somewhat okay. Now, so let's see how these problems are solved one by one. So as I said, the first thing, providing a well-defined service interface to the network layer. So a well-defined service interface means you need to concentrate on what are the different services that I'm going to provide and how those services are achieved. So these 2 questions you need to answer to solve this particular issue. So what are the services to be provided to the network layer? So that is the first issue, that is the first question that comes into our mind. Okay, so the principal services is transferring data from network layer on the source machine to the network layer on the destination machines. Okay, so that is the main logic behind the providing of the service. Okay, so that's what I already explained. Okay, now so to provide this particular principle, based on this particular principle, the data link layer is providing 3 services. Okay, So the three major services, not just three, it can offer many other services, but there are three well-known services which are implemented in almost every every architecture that is designed till now for computer networks, not just OSI, not just TCP/IP. Whatever architecture you take, the designers came to a conclusion of these three. The designers came to a conclusion of these three services. Okay, so the first service is unacknowledged connectionless service. Can anyone give an example for this? Because I already discussed about these things in some other concepts. Okay, so can anyone tell me a good example for this communication, unacknowledged connectionless service? See, connectionless means every communication, every entity of that communication is treated independently. Okay, and unacknowledged means you are not going to get any confirmations from the receiver. So is there any similar service that you can see in our real life communication? I got one reply from J8 Gayatri. Yeah, K5 Leela Komala. I don't know your complete name. I am not able to see the complete name. So those two are right. Yeah, 66 is also right. 545, you are wrong. What about the other persons? Can you tell me one real-time example? Okay, I'm not talking about our computer networks. I'm talking about real-time examples that you can see this unacknowledged connectionless service. I repeat, connectionless means every statement or word, depending on how it is generated, is treated independently, and when a sender sends something to receiver is not going to even send a confirmation back. Okay, so I ate Sriya. So this is a better answer. Okay, so a normal SMS service, literally, clearly, if you need to tell, is SMS without, I think, let me change the color. Yeah, so normal SMS where SMS without delivery reports. So this is an unacknowledged connectionless service. You may be doing chatting with your friends. Okay, let's say. So when you are doing a chat with your friend, every message is treated independently and every message is transmitted independently. Okay, so your system does not know whether this is the last message or this is the first message or this is some 10th message, like that. What it knows is you gave some text, you entered the text and you clicked send button. So the SMS will be constructed around the message and the SMS will be transmitted to the receiver, and the receiver is not even going to send a delivery report to you. So there is no confirmation that whether the SMS is not, whether the SMS is delivered to the receiver or not. Okay, so that is a good example. Now, can anyone give me a real-time acknowledgement, a real-time example for this acknowledged connectionless service? So, as 566 says, WhatsApp, an example, SMS with delivery report. Okay, in WhatsApp, we have this gray color double tick, sorry, gray color single tick, gray color double tick, blue color double tick. So gray color single tick, gray color double tick, and blue color double tick. So this means the message sent from your mobile, but there is no, I mean, there is, that is not delivered to the receiver. This means it is delivered to receiver's mobile, and this means receiver saw your message. So this is a acknowledged connectionless service. So here every message is treated independently. You may say that, sir, once we create a chat room, every message is a part of the chat room. But when you click on that send button, WhatsApp is going to construct individual messages and it is going to transmit to every individual person. Okay, సో మీ ఫోన్ నుంచి ఒక మెసేజ్ సర్వర్కి వెళ్తున్నాము, సర్వర్కి సింగిల్ మెసేజే వెళ్తుంది. ఫ్రమ్ సర్వర్ దే ఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు construct multiple messages, multiple WhatsApp messages with some information like to which room the messages belong to, and it is going to assign your IP address. Okay, so and it is going to send that message through that IP address. Once the message is received at the receiving side, that is in your mobile, it is going to see the additional information, that is which application that information is, and in that application to which chat room the information is, then it is going to display that information there. That is how the communication is happening. Okay, so WhatsApp is an example for unacknowledged connectionless service, and the other type of service is acknowledged connection oriented service. Normally when you go with connection oriented, obviously you are getting it with acknowledged communication. So an example, as the two person 66 J8 and I8 are saying, a phone call, and 5K4, yeah, you can say normally any banking transaction is going to happen as going to appear like a connection oriented communication. Okay, you can't you can't resume a communication from the middle, so I can consider that also. So the best example is these phone calls. So once you dial a number, so you are going to say whatever you want. Okay, you are going to get the confirmation that the message is delivered to the other person. That is what is meant by phone call. మీరు ఫోన్ కాల్ చేస్తున్నారంటేనే దాని మీనింగ్ ఏంటంటే మీరు చెప్పే ప్రతిదీ అవతల వాడికి వెళ్తుంది అని, వాడు వింటున్నాడా లేదా అనేది సెకండరీ థింగ్. సో ఫోన్ కాల్ ఈజ్ ఎ కనెక్షన్ ఓరియంటెడ్ కమ్యూనికేషన్. Okay, and it is acknowledged communication. So these are the three types of services that the data link layer is mainly going to provide to the network layer. Okay, so what are the services provided? That question we answered. Now to provide these services to the network layer, the data link layer is actually divided into two sub layers. Okay, so that means nothing but the data link layer actually going to divide your entire work into two groups. So I said it need to provide framing, it need to provide flow control, it need to provide error control, and it need to provide medium access control. So what the designers thought is, this medium access control is one type of operation where these three operations are similar types, that are logical operations. Okay, so they need to logically implement these things, where in medium access control there is no need for logic. What you need is some systematic way, that is some time or some frequency or some wavelength. So like that, in the same way, some mechanism, a systematic mechanism to implement it. Okay, that's the reason they divided this data link layer into two parts. One is a layer called logical link control sublayer, which is in shortcut called LLC, logical link control, or it is also called as DLC, data link control sublayer. So this layer is going to take care of all the logical services. So how to define frame, how to divide the frames into smaller, how to divide the information into smaller frames, smaller parts. Okay, how to provide flow control, how to provide error control. So these things will be taken care by the logical link control sublayer. And the other sublayer, that is the name itself says everything, so it is going to take care of all the other services. Okay, that is nothing but how the medium is going to be accessed, when the medium is going to be accessed, and what to do when there is some collisions in the medium. Okay, and what to do if the information is somehow lost in the medium. Okay, if there is some errors, then the receiver will identify that okay, there is some errors, I can reconstruct, or whether I can ask the sender to resend. But if the information is completely lost in the medium, the receiver will not know that the sender is sent some information. Sender does not know whether the receiver received the information or not. If you think it is not an acknowledged communication, then who will take care of that? So that is also taken care by the medium access control sublayer. Okay, so up to this point it is clear. Is it clear up to this particular point about the two sublayers and what are the services they are going to taking care of? So the logical link control related services that are going to be achieved is, as I said, one thing framing. Okay, and the one thing is framing, and the other thing is flow control and error control that I previously said. Now how the framing is achieved? Framing and ఇప్పటి వరకు నేను చెప్తుంది ఏంటమ్మా, పైనుంచి వచ్చిన ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ డివైడ్ చేసి పంపించాలి అని చెప్తున్నా. So is it really that much simple? Okay, is there any certain guidelines to be framed, or we can simply implement the same logic in the data link layer? When you receive 100 let's say 100 MB from the network layer, you are going to divide it into 1 MB size and you are going to send it. That is the only rule that you are going to implement, or we need some other things? You need to think about physical layer also while doing these things. Okay, so let me tell you what I meant is, network layer is giving you 100 MB. Okay, you, the data link layer, well thought of everything, and you divided these things into 100 1 MBs. Okay, so to make sure that the receiver, when there is some problem, you are going to only retransmit that single 1 MB. Now what the physical layer is going to do? It is going to convert these 1 MBs into signals and transmit one by one. So ఇప్పుడు ఫస్ట్ 1 MB సిగ్నల్ పంపించిందన్న, నెక్స్ట్ ఇమీడియట్లీ సెకండ్ 1 MB సిగ్నల్ పంపిస్తుంది, దెన్ ఇమీడియట్లీ థర్డ్ 1 MB సిగ్నల్ పంపిస్తుంది, దెన్ ఫోర్త్ 1 MB. Now in terms of physical layer on the receiving side, is there any mechanism in the physical layer how it is going to see from where to where 1 MB, and from where to where the second MB, and from where to where the third MB, like that? ఏమైనా మెకానిజం ఉందా ఫిజికల్ లేయర్? మనం ఏదైనా డిస్కస్ చేసామా సెకండ్ యూనిట్ లో? whether we discussed any such mechanism in our second unit, physical layer? Guys, respond whether we discussed any such mechanism implemented in physical layer. ప్రతి బిట్ కి బిగినింగ్ ఏది ఎండింగ్ ఏది అని చెప్పడానికి సింక్రనైజేషన్ అనే కాన్సెప్ట్ యూజ్ చేసాము. బట్ ఒక ఫ్రేమ్ కి బిగినింగ్ ఏది ఎండింగ్ ఏది అని చెప్పడానికి మనకి ఫిజికల్ లేయర్ లో ఏదైనా మెకానిజం ఉందా? దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ ఐఎమ్ ఆస్కింగ్. రెస్పాన్స్. I can only see one person respond. What about the remaining persons? Is my question is clear or not? Let me repeat my question. When network layer gives you information, you are going to divide the information into smaller parts called frames. Okay, when I say smaller parts, you need some way to identify where it begins and where it ends, where the frame begins and where the frame ends. If you are not clear with that, there is no use of dividing the information into smaller parts first. Okay, now did we discuss any mechanism in physical layer where the physical layer is going to separate each and every frame from one another? Okay, 5i8 responded, K6 responded, B6 66 responded. What about the remaining people? And if you are not clear with the previous units, it is very difficult to understand the current and the coming units. Okay, so if you are not sure what what you learned in first and second units, there is no need for you to go through the third, fourth, fifth, sixth unit. Tomorrow you will be having a quiz on the entire second unit. Okay, so it is like I'm going to give you at least 20 questions each. So you need to answer that questions. Okay, you need to attempt that quiz. So why I'm saying tomorrow is, in your free times today, till you get the assignment, you better go through the PPT of second unit. You better understand each and everything happen in that physical layer. Okay, then I will continue this class from Saturday. Okay, so it's already 1. So actually the session is going to end at 1:15. What I planned is still the session for 1:15, but what I can see is you people are not responding. So unless you respond, I can't continue. So I'm stopping the session now. So if you have any queries till this particular point, okay, in this particular unit that I discussed, you can stay and ask, otherwise you can leave, and there will be a quiz by the end of today about these topics that I discussed, the basic quiz. Okay, so those people who have no queries can leave.